You will never get a girlfriend being fat. Welcome back to the Mailman. My name's Punith, and if you're new here, the Mailman is a brand focused on breaking the stigma all around male body image issues and the mental health impact it can have. Growing up, I used to firmly believe that what I could achieve in life all revolved around how I looked, because at school the most popular kids were the ones that were in the best shape. They were tall, good skin, good build, they played sports, and myself and the majority of our class, I went to a boys' school, so we had lots of dominant characters in the school, but we all tended to revolve around the most popular kid, because they were the ones you just knew. They were like the jocks. They were popular, they were fairly, well off, they came from kind of privileged backgrounds. Aura about them that you wanted to be like them, you wanted to just be friends with them, because ultimately you could kind of benefit from that. Oh, and they always got the girls. They got the attention from the girls. You could see the girls having that little giggle as they walked past them. And so, yeah, why wouldn't you want to be like them? Or why wouldn't you want to be in that same circle of friends? Because if they got the girls, then that meant you would get the girls, ultimately. This wasn't a big thing at primary school, because, I mean, pre-pubescent, you didn't really know anything different. But secondary school is where it all changed. But that was kind of when everything became clearer in terms of I had to look a certain way. The bullying had started. I was clearly much bigger than the other kids. I was one of like 3 coloured kids out of 700-800 boys. So I kind of felt like an anomaly anyway. But then it was even worse when you instantly saw that there were other kids getting more attention than yourself, and you kind of wanted to be in that group. But in order to be in that group, you needed to kind of click and connect with those popular kids in the right ways. Either you were just uber confident, which I definitely wasn't. Either you were really good looking, which I definitely wasn't. Your family was well known to the school. You were kind of like the family known about town, which mine wasn't. And it wasn't that these jocks and the popular kids were mean to me. In fact, they were really nice guys. They were, they probably didn't even realise that they were attracting so much attention, or they got massive groups of friends because everyone wanted to be like them. They were just quite down to earth, if I'm being honest. But everyone that wasn't part of that core group wanted to be like them, because in our eyes it was they were who you wanted to be. You wanted to look exactly like them. You wanted to behave like them, because you felt like your life would just be a little bit better. But obviously that didn't happen to me. And it sounds weird saying, but I kind of wanted to look like them, but I wasn't it wasn't like in a creepy way. I just wanted to get built, lose weight, have clear skin, be considered popular and attractive by the girls that used to hang around our school. But I was always at a disadvantage. I had a lot of weight to lose. I couldn't change my skin colour, and honestly, at the time I couldn't really do anything about the state of my face and my acne. It's just something I had to live with and deal with for years. But I did use my size to an advantage when I started playing rugby. And yes, all the popular kids, the jocks, they also did play rugby as well, because it was the sport to play in our school. But I kind of gained the respect by being the size I am, because no one really wanted to, tackle me or even attempt to get in my way if I was running. And that slowly did kind of generate a level of popularity, but not for the right reasons. It was, he's an absolute unit because he's fat. So yes, I did earn a level of respect, but I was never happy being that size. I just wanted to lose weight, and quite frankly, I would have taken weight loss over the respect from playing rugby any day, because in my head, losing weight, looking more like these popular kids, I'd earn that respect back. And for pretty much 6-7 years of secondary school or high school, that's what it was for me. My battle with weight, my goal to look like the popular kids. And it never really happened, really, until right at the end, just before going to uni, when I lost a load of weight because I couldn't walk properly because of the amount of rugby I was playing, and the weight being so heavy on my shins. I had to lose weight, and I had to, that was a real kind of U-turn in my life. But at that point, it was pretty much too late. But what's funny is, after losing a lot of weight and going to uni, I was one of the popular kids, or so I'm told. But that's a story for another time. But school is a weird place, because you don't think these types of comparisons go on. Yes, there's always going to be like, oh, he's got a new pair of shoes, or he's got the latest phone, I want that. And sometimes you just can't, because you don't have the means to buy all these luxuries, whereas some other kids just get these as a weekly treat, and there's nothing you can do about that. It's just their circumstance compared to yours. But what I look back now and think, just how much the body image piece was the biggest factor for me, and it was all down to my insecurities, years upon years, building up, getting worse. The insecurities of just feeling different and being bullied, being made to feel like I need to look a certain way, compounded on each other. Over the years, it had a massive impact on my confidence. But honestly, if I went through things like that back in school, God knows what kids are going through at the moment with the amount of content there is out there. Ultimately, every school is going to have that group of kids, that popular group, the built group, the jocks, the good-looking guys, and there's nothing you can do about that. But if you don't feel on par with them, on top of that, if you've got content on your phone or social media that's knocking you daily and making you feel like shit at the end of the day, God knows how kids are dealing with it nowadays, because it is a horrible place to be. When you're bombarded with that kind of stuff, and you want to make a change, but you can't make a change, or you don't know how to make a change, and you're being bullied, I honestly feel for the kids of today, because they must be getting it from all angles, and there's no one out there to tell them that looking the way you look is completely fine and acceptable. You do not need to look any different than you look right now. Of course, if you want to make a change for yourself, because you want to get stronger, or you want to be better at a sport, or like in my case, I wanted to improve my ability to walk properly and play rugby longer, so I took it in my own hands to lose the weight. Not because people were bullying me. I mean, I'd gone through 6-7 years of high school, secondary school being bullied anyway, but I couldn't lose the weight. But when I did it for myself, I managed to lose a load of weight. So if you've got to that point where you just want to do something for you, it must be so difficult as a child because you've got no role model to look up to. And this is where the channel and the brand comes in, because wouldn't it be great if we had those kind of role models and kind of celebrities that were advocates of this type of thing? I mean, I'm sure there are loads of people out there who are well known, who've got big followings, that would say, you know what, yeah, don't change because the bullies are telling you to, or because you're being forced to. Do it for yourself. But they're not really voicing that. I know there are sportsmen out there who've gone through their own body image challenges, people that have had to lose weight, have gone through eating disorders because perhaps they were forced to lose weight by their associated clubs or teams. Andrew Flintoff is a good example. There was so much chat back in the day when he was just an absolute tank playing for England, but people were telling him he's got to lose weight if he wants to carry on playing. And then fast forward a few years, he's in a documentary about eating disorders and how he's obsessed with cycling and keeping his body weight under a certain level because he's kind of now been sort of wired in that way. Why can't we get someone like that as an advocate, as a brand ambassador, to promote this sort of stuff? I mean, I'd love to somehow, I don't know whether it's through some podcast or an interview or I don't know, but to do something with people like that. I mean, I'm a big cricket fan. I think being able to share that sort of story with someone so well known like Andrew Flintoff would be incredible. But not just him, I think there are loads of people, loads of others out there who are probably under the radar a bit more, but still have a decent following, who can connect with people, especially the younger audience, who can connect with them, make them just feel a little bit more confident in themselves, and that you don't need to look or change or do anything different unless you want to do it for yourself. That's the key point. People tell you to lose weight or to be bullied into losing weight. Have that strength to do it yourself and focus on something for your own. If there's anyone out there watching this that can get a message to Andrew Flintoff, please do. I think this is a great cause. I think there's so much potential in this to grow and expand and get in front of the right people, the right audiences. But the only way to do that is by pushing this message out and getting it in front of as many people as possible. Me filming these videos on the way to work in front of a camera, I'm hoping it has an impact on even one person. But the only way to push this out is to like, comment, subscribe, share, all the usual cheesy stuff that YouTubers say. But ultimately this is a good cause. I'm doing this to hopefully make a difference, so that other kids who are perhaps facing these kind of challenges don't have to live the type of life that I've lived and have the same insecurities and mental health battles that I struggle with on a daily basis. That's enough for today. Thank you very much for watching.